RE/MAX Hallmark group of companies, and I'm also the Vice President of Development for Broker Logics, which I'll talk about later this afternoon. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the entrepreneurial ladder. And this exercise, this conversation is really for you to listen and see where you fit on the entrepreneurial ladder. Some of you are in captivity, which is not a good place to be. Okay? So the entrepreneurial ladder goes something like this. We all start in captivity, and then we have an opportunity to evolve to monopoly. Who likes to play Monopoly?
Yes.
I'm undefeated. Isn't that right? So I'm going to just share with you what each of these stages look like so that you can figure out where you are. Now, you might be like this. You might be on several different steps of the ladder at the same time. You might have your foot down here and you might be reaching for up here. And that's perfectly normal. The cool thing about looking at the entrepreneurial ladder is what's possible, right? So if you are looking at growing your business, then you want to see what's ahead of you based on where you are now. I'm not sure that anybody here has achieved full monopoly status, although I think a few of you are close. So let's look at captivity. Captivity is you recognize every way you're being commoditized and you're continually confronted with the complexities of the business, which is caused by increased commoditization. So someone that's living in captivity is struggling with commission conversations at the table. They're struggling, and I saw some of those in your sheets. Some of you are struggling with having compensation conversations. That is living in captivity. Because your mindset is telling you that if someone else is doing it for less, either I should, because I don't know how to not do it for less. So you're living in captivity. So if you're there, that's a mindset issue. You will not get out of captivity until you fix your mindset. You need mindset coaching, full stop. So this undermines personal and organizational productivity and success. It also forces us to stay into a captive way of thinking or being. So I said this to a coaching client the other day who's having a mindset issue, because we all have mindset issues from time to time. I said, what's the last thing that you think about when you go to bed? And the first thing that you think about when you wake up in the morning? That's how you know whether you're being held captive by your thinking. So try that tonight. What's the last, because what that is typically is that's your subconscious coming through to your conscious, and it's running the show, whether you acknowledge it or not. Your subconscious is running the show. So just pay attention to that, because we all fall back into captivity from time to time, and it's our mindset that can get us out of that. The next one is productivity. You achieve twice the results with half the time and effort. You focus your personal and organizational time and efforts on activities that bring you superior skill, passion, energy, and never-ending improvement. A lot of us have achieved productivity. Where does productivity come from? Well, we can only do so many deals in a year, yes? So how does somebody become twice as productive? That's typically when they've leveraged and they've hired a virtual assistant, or they've hired an administrative assistant, or they've figured out how to use artificial intelligence to do part of their job, and that's called leverage. So they've leveraged and they've become more productive, or they've implemented technologies into their business to achieve a higher level of productivity in the same amount of time. The next rung is profitability. This is where I was talking about the biggest paycheck. So you secure bigger and better financial opportunities. Either you start to specialize in a higher price point. One year when I was in real estate, I sold real estate for 25 years, and I decided I couldn't work any harder. I didn't want to add to my team, so I decided I was going to move into a higher level of price point so that I could get a raise without working any harder. And some of you are, in an average price point, and that's great, but I decided I wanted to do high-end real estate. So how do you break into the high-end real estate market? So I went through that transition, and I was successful at selling higher-priced homes, same number, bigger paycheck. The other thing, and I heard this somewhere in the room today, was focusing on your top relationships with influencers that will help you grow your business. So that's your silent salespeople that will go out and sell for you. You guys are silent salespeople for us at RE/MAX Hallmark. Because I can't tell you how many times I've had a phone call from someone that says, Adam Brown told me I have to come to Hallmark, right? Wafa told me I had to come to Hallmark. So we have that as well in our business, and that is the influencers in your database and our influencers in our company help us grow our company. Your influencers in your database will help you grow your company. So if you focus more on those relationships, they will help you build your business. There's a lady I know in Oakville that has a database of 50, and she's a top agent. Over $3 million a year in GCI with a database of 50, which doesn't actually calculate with the math based on a lot of books that I've read, but she seems to have figured out how to do it. And that, again, is she's focusing on her largest paycheck. So you continually improve your personal and organizational capabilities by focusing on multiplying results and rewards from individual clients, products, and events. So instead of doing one-on-one events, you figure out how to 10 times it, you figure out how to multiply it. Maybe you have an event where you have 30 people instead of one-on-ones. So I went through this in my business as well because I had 4 children. I still have 4 children, actually 4 plus 2 now. I have 6. I figured out how to multiply. So I had a lot of kids, I was outnumbered, and I was a single mom with a busy real estate practice. So I actually came through profitability and productivity out of necessity. Some of you don't have necessity in your lives, that's why you don't have what you want. If you had necessity, you'd figure out a way, right? But when we get comfortable, we're not in necessity. If we're not in necessity, we don't think about profitability, we don't think about productivity. We're just comfortable doing what we're doing. So maybe you need a mindset shift to create some necessity in your life. And sometimes that can be assisted by looking forward and saying, okay, what's my exit plan? How much time do I want to be in the business? How much do I want in the bank? What do I want my life to look like when I retire? And that might bring you necessity, right? To get out of your comfort level. So that's profitability. Differentiation is one of my favorite stages. This is an evolution of mindset. And not everyone gets here in their career. This is where we start making things all about them instead of all about us. I actually said to Michelle on break, Michelle is not the same person I met 10 years ago. She's not. She's evolved. We're either evolving or we're dying, right? There's only 2 choices. So making it all about the customer at the other side of the table instead of making it all about us. So you base and develop all the systems and structure in your business to create a unique experience for your clients. You create a Walt Disney experience for your clients. You understand that you don't want to be commoditized because anybody can put up a for sale sign, put up a lockbox, and do the do things that a lot of realtors do, but not everybody can create a fabulous experience. Why do you think Walt Disney, people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to Walt Disney every single year? Millions. Like, it's ridiculous. People spend so much money. Why? Because they want the experience. They want that emotional, visceral experience. So how are we creating emotional and visceral experiences with our clients and making it all about them? And I'll give you a simple example. A lot of us have commoditized ourselves by doing everything digitally. We do digital offers, we email offers to people instead of sitting down face-to-face, belly-to-belly with people, and we're missing out on opportunities to create visceral emotional experiences, right? I sold my house last February. I let one of my younger sons represent me as the listing agent, and he called me to tell me, "Congratulations, Mom, your house is sold." I was like, It's a little bit of a lunch bag letdown. It's the first time I'd sold a house where I wasn't sitting face-to-face with my realtor. It's not the same experience, guys. Now, I got a lot of money for my house. I sold in February. But I didn't get that warm and fuzzy feel. Like, my son actually said to me, he goes, "You don't sound very happy." What was I missing? I was missing the human connection. So listen, guys, you gotta show up. Because if you want to create a Walt Disney experience for your clients, you've got to be in a relationship with them. And you can't be in a relationship with them over the phone, on an email. We got to get back into being in a relationship with people. right? So today, if I were still selling real estate, I would come to Peter's house on the last sign back. It doesn't mean I have to do it all, but when I'm on the last sign back and I know that we're getting a deal here, I'm going to Peter's house, especially if Peter is an influencer. Because I would have checked that when I first onboarded him as a client. I would know that he's on Facebook, he's on Instagram, and he's an influencer, because I creeped him before we started doing business together to see what his social media habits are, right? And I'm going to say, Peter, I noticed that you always celebrate your birthday on Facebook. It's not a really special event having a birthday every year, is it? Like, really? But selling a house? Every 7 years, every 8 years, every 10 years, every 25 years? Now that's a milestone event. So Peter, could I have your phone? I'm just going to take a quick video of you. I want you to tell me about your experience. How are you feeling right now? I'm going to give him the phone. I'm going to say, Peter, I hope you share that on social media because somebody needs to hear it. And if you do, please tag me. Right? What that is the gift that keeps on giving. Every year, Peter's going to get a reminder of the visceral emotional experience that he had with me. Facebook memory, right? Can't do that if you're doing everything by email. So I want to encourage you, as a point of differentiation, is to go back to old school. Go back to the old school way of doing business and create opportunities to have that visceral experience. Everybody here remembers where they were on September 11th, yes? Why? It was emotional. If you don't create an emotional, visceral experience with your clients, you might lose them. They might have a great experience with you this time, but 5 years from now, you're driving down the street and somebody else's sign is on their lawn. Right? You do this so well that your client acknowledges it. So you do such a great job at meeting people's emotional needs that they feel compelled to acknowledge it. I know that I have that kind of impact with the people that I work with because they will say to me, and they do say to me, Mo said to me in Ottawa, is it in Ottawa? He said, do you remember that you said blah, 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 I don't remember what it was. He said, it impacted me greatly. As a result of that conversation, my mindset shifted, my business is different, and I want to thank you for that. I don't even remember what I said. But that's how you know that you've reached this level, is people will tell you, you changed my life. You guys have that opportunity every day to change people's lives. Don't shortcut it with technology. Don't shortcut it. Just think of it that way. It's a simple perception shift. If we have to ask for a recommendation, that's not as powerful as if they want to and they're asking us. It's like when we go to a networking event. When I'm training realtors, I say, if you're at a networking event, networking with other realtors, don't pull out your business card. Try to create a conversation so powerful that they ask you for your card. That's how you know you made an impact. If they don't ask you for your card, you didn't make an impact yet, right? So we're constantly trying to make withdrawals from the emotional bank account of other people without making enough deposits first. You gotta make the deposits. Deposit. 10 deposits for one withdrawal is the rule of thumb. So we have to deposit into the emotional relationship bank account 10 times before we can ask for a Google review, right? Innovation. You put everything into process. So we've talked about processes and systems. This is an evolution on the entrepreneurial path, is where you actually take the time to create a process for everything, a standard operating procedure for everything. You utilize the evolving unique value proposition that you have and organize your value creation and leadership for all clients. So that's really important. Innovation actually comes from systemization. And a lot of us are a slave to our own personality types. So I used to be a really high I personality. I've curbed that a tiny bit because the high I personality, although is great with people, it's not great with tasks, right? A lot of high I people are behind with the CRA, for example. So, you know who you are. We're great at going out and making money. We're not so great at, taking the garbage bag of receipts to the accountant for them to get our taxes done, right? So creating processes for everything is really important. So if you were off work for 6 months, could your business run without you? Could your business run without you? Now, there's a lot of individual realtors here. When you're an individual, you're tempted to stay an individual because you've got this mindset that I don't want to be a team, I don't want to be a team. Nobody's saying you have to be a team. My daughter works for an individual realtor in Midtown Toronto who has 5 assistants, and she's the only one that goes out and does real estate sales. And there's 5 administrators in the background doing all the stuff she doesn't want to do because she knows her highest and best value is something else. So don't hide behind the story of I want to stay individual and I can't get help, because I promise you, you're doing administrative activities that are worth $25 an hour. And if I sat down and I went through your business, all I have to do is ask you, where did your business come from? How much time did you spend in that area? And I can give you an hourly rate of what your time is worth. And once you understand what your time is worth, maybe you'll stop doing the things that you don't need to be doing anymore. Maybe. If you want to evolve. Then we have mastery. You package every one of your ideas and solutions. You continually reinforce the power of your unique process. See, a lot of us don't have a unique process. And this is where we risk being commoditized. I love people that have created a unique process with unique language. You know, Fatima talked about it in Ottawa. She's in the business of house transformation. She does a complete house transformation. Part of her process is she has a before, during, and after process. So if you were trademarking your process, think about this. Could you trademark your process? If you can't trademark your process, it's probably not that unique. So what would you have to do to be able to trademark your process that nobody could copy it? That should be the thinking. That's the question. The question is, how do I do this uniquely different than everyone else that I could trademark it, right? That's mastery. And you transform people. You transform people when you have a process. Value creation is based on the what we do, but it's also based on leadership, and it's also based on relationship. That's what value creation is. So are you leading your clients based on process? That's a great way to be, is to lead your clients. If you're a good leader, you probably have a great business because you instill confidence in people. And that's one of the things that good leadership does, is it eliminates confusion and it provides confidence to people. And people need that today. People are desperate for that today. They want someone to give them confidence in uncertain times. Maybe you need somebody to give you confidence in uncertain times, because if you don't have the confidence, you can't give away what you don't have. So you might have to do some work on yourself, and that's okay. I love that Michelle said she's been in coaching her whole career. I was in coaching my whole career. Like, how do you get great at something if you don't have a coach? Like, you need people in your life to mentor you. That's why this group is so powerful, because you guys are coaching each other. We've created an environment here where you're able to contribute to each other and you're able to coach each other. Some of you are going to exchange business cards and share ideas after this event. And that's the power of these types of events. Fighting for their commission was a pain point in their industry. And I get it, that's legit. That's a legit pain point for people. Who are you being if you have that pain point? And who do you need to be not to have that pain point? It's mindset. Right? I sat across from Kim Tran last week, and she was coming up with a menu of service, because I preach having a menu of service, options and transparency for consumers, let them choose the compensation package that they would like to pay for. And you know, it starts at 2.5, 3, and 3.5 for the listing fee. I don't talk about the cooperating broker fee yet, because it's not relevant. People get attached to that and they all of a sudden think that you're walking home with 7% commission or 6% commission, and that's not how the world works. So I'm sitting across from her and she's like, I took the SRS class and I've been working on this and I just can't seem to get it finished. And I looked at her and I was listening to her and I said, it's because you don't believe it yourself. Because if you believed it yourself, you would have no problem charging more money. And she's like, oh my God, you're right. So some of us have a mindset problem. That problem is never going to go away until you change. So that's one, mindset. And I can give you lots of examples of mindset problems that came up. It's one of the categories. It was a big category. The second one is lead generation. That was a big category for people here, was lead generation. The third one was growth. And the last one was systems, processes, and execution. So I want to take a moment to let you coach the person, and this is anonymous. So I'm going to give you a pain point, and I'm going to ask you to raise your hand and tell me how you would coach this person. So I have a person here that is struggling with growing their bottom line in order for them to plan an abundant exit strategy. What pain point is that? Growth. So how would you coach that person? Mindset? Right. Anything in particular you'd like to say to that person?
Apparently Steve thinks I have something to say.
I can see it in your eyes.
There's probably a lack of business planning, so they're not setting themselves up for success because they're not measuring what they need to do to get to their goal.
I love that. That's good coaching. That's really good coaching. So come up with a business plan so that you can see it on paper. Because if you can see it, some people need to see it in order to take away the fear. See, a lot of people have fear and confusion and hesitation because what are they lacking? They're lacking clarity. How do you get clarity? You build yourself a plan and you make sure that you've got good strategy to execute the plan. That gives you clarity. Beautiful. Okay, let's go to the next topic. Systems, processes, and execution.